Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I want to welcome you because I got Archangel Metatron with me today, who wants to discuss why enslavement is so difficult for most people to escape. He says we're trapped in DNA handcuffs. When I awoke this morning, I'm lying there. Metatron comes and he says, "William, people are trapped in handcuffs." I said, "What do you mean they're trapped in handcuffs?" He said, "People are trapped in DNA handcuffs." I said, "Explain that to me more." And he said, DNA handcuffs is long-term conditioning that's handed down from generation to generation from enslavers to the enslaved. He said the reason that the function of taxation was so easy to establish in modern days is because it has been established in other civilizations. You do not realize that what you are trained into believing and thinking now, how you are interacted with those that are in positions of authority, are the same individuals in authority today as they were thousands of years ago. They do not just disappear. And your relationship with them has been well established. It has been written in your DNA. It's really funny that he said this too, because I was considering a gentleman I knew by the name of Christopher Bird, who wrote a book with a gentleman by the name of Peter Stroud called The Secret Life of Plants. And in The Secret Life of Plants, there's this one example, I think the gentleman's name, who did this experiment with the prickly pear cactus. He took a prickly pear cactus out of the desert, and prickly pear cactus are pears that are prickly. And they grew these prickles to prevent other animals from eating them so they could survive. But he took this prickly pear cactus out of the desert and brought it home, and he began to communicate with it, tell it was safe, and he began to assure it and provide an environment where it could not be attacked. And after a couple of generations, those prickly pears, the actual spines on the pear began to come off. And around the third generation, this new prickly pear was no longer a prickly pear in the same way it was before. And then he took that now changed prickly pear that he had given a safe environment that was not subject to predators, its normal environment, and it changed. It gave up the prickles. And then he put it back out in the desert. And then in around 3 generations, the prickles returned to protect itself from those things that subsequent generations learn from the experience of the ones before. And that's what this reminds you of. So he's saying that what happened thousands of years ago in different civilizations, Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, what you call modern day Egypt is nothing like what the original foundation of Egypt was. Eden, places like that established hierarchies of order, rulers and slaves, I'll use that term, rulers and servants, formed a bond of survival, that one could direct and manipulate the other. And he said over time, your parents, your great-grandparents get conditioned into a belief system of how you're supposed to be, and it's in your DNA now. He says you do not know how to change your DNA because you've been taught to believe that the only way to alter your life is by what you do in the world. In order to change or get yourself out of your DNA handcuffs, you have to understand how to affect your DNA. And you are able to affect your DNA. The challenge you face, though, is you are so distracted with the sounds, the information that you are constantly being bombarded with that prevents you from going inward to make the effective change in your DNA, where you can begin to liberate yourself from generations of enslavement. You do not think that taxation is enslavement? You do not think that poverty is a form of enslavement? You do not think labor is a form of enslavement? There are benefits to these things to some measure, but the vast majority of the people do not benefit from the existing paradigms. Very few benefit. Because it is written in your DNA that you will be a certain way, that you will do a certain way, that you will think a certain way. in the fleeting moments in the last 200 years where your consciousness was liberated sufficiently enough that innovation can be allowed to pour into this world so that your technological realm could expand rapidly, long enough for those positions of authority to be securely established, and long enough that the reinitiation of the DNA handcuffs, that is, the conditioning and information provided to each and every one of you to put you back in the position of being a laborer, of being subjugated to the enslavement, to the whims of others. Whether you know it or not, you think your governments serve you. They do not serve you. They enslave you. And you've been conditioned to be enslaved by these governments for many thousands of years. And until you come to an understanding, how then do you begin to change your own DNA so that you are no longer subjective to the generational conditioning that you currently are? The first thing you have to do is you have to break your attachment to the external world as being the only source of reasoning and information. Understand that these ones that have been in authoritative power for thousands of years and thousands of civilizations know full well what to say to you, what to show you, what to tell you to keep your DNA cycle operating so that you remain enslaved. They keep you distracted with wars and survival. They create diseases. Yes, they have created diseases that keep you in the externalized aspect of your being so you have no recourse, or so it would seem, because you are so distracted. But I say to you that your ability to go within, to begin to effect deliberate and functional changes in your own DNA through an act of your will, not their will, your will. You see, you've given your will up for theirs. They tell you you must pay taxes. You must labor hard. Suffering is a part of your life. They tell you this. This is just the way it is, they say. And your DNA remembers the many civilizations that have risen and fallen under the same influence. The religions, the philosophies, the sciences that all worked very effectively at sustaining and maintaining a DNA profile that keeps the vast majority of you in subjectivity to the whims and wills of others. To keep you externalized so you never go in to change the underlying conditioning that exists within your consciousness for many generations. And there are few exceptions to the overall numbers of population that can ascend out of those DNA, break out of those DNA handcuffs. Very few of you can actually break the chains of those handcuffs, more so now because you see information is becoming more available, but they can control it sufficiently enough that the vast majority of you remain in your handcuffs, your historical conditioning. And these in positions of power and authority around you know very well. They know each other very well. They speak in quiet places where you cannot hear them, and they say, we must do this and we must do this because they might be waking up here. We should do this here. Oh, we got this thing called free speech happening. We better make it illegal to have free speech in countries. And many of you just simply accept it without any resistance. You just accept that you have to accept suffering. You just accept that you have to accept poverty. You just accept that you have to accept war. You've been conditioned, as they have been conditioned to be the enslavers, you have been conditioned to be the enslaved. And which one are you? You get to exercise a function of your free will to go inward, to evaluate the functions of your behaviors and actions, to begin to make conscious changes. But they will not let you do that for the most part. They will keep you distracted with sensationalization, overstimulation of your senses, keeping your bodies in states of stress and disease, keeping your minds preoccupied with fearful, frightening considerations. They even tell you to fear what is within you with such concepts as sin. that you are inherently evil. They use a foundational idea that many of you believe that you are evil. And so you will not look inside because all you will find is evil, or so you believe. But let me tell you that in each and every living being, rich or poor, there is a divinity that is unfettered from the considerations of the urges and desires and passions of humanity that are perhaps detrimental. But once you can begin to pull yourself away from the externalized influences that keep you enslaved to the externalized influences, once you begin to evaluate and consider that, well, now you have the key with which you can begin to open the lock on these DNA handcuffs. Considerations like freedom. These are qualities of energy that you have within you. You have the potential to be a slave. You have the potential to be a creator. But you must know this. And this has gone on for time immemorial relative to the civilizations you currently exist in right now. But all these civilizations, the leaders, the enslaved, the enslavers, you all work to sustain and maintain your relative positions to each other. And you have forgotten how you do it. You just simply do it. Those of you that believe that suffering and sin and something being wrong with you is fundamentally true, live by that token as those who believe that there are those that are worthy of wealth and power and prosperity, and those who are not. Each of you has your own unique set of DNA handcuffs, and each presents its own set of discomfort and frustration. But you must learn to begin to go inward. You must begin to evaluate, why do you think you have to pay these taxes to these ones? And why do they believe that they have the right to extol that from you? This is inherited functions of behavior, which is why it happened so easily in your last 200 years after that brief spark of freedom to create, to be, and do. And then they came back. The DNA began to assert itself. Let us create this way to make certain that we are in power and they are enslaved. And you agreed with them. Yes, we should be enslaved and they should be in power. We need somebody to operate our reality for us. And so by mutual agreement, both enslaver and enslaved, through the historical conditioning handed down through your DNA, assures that the system will generally keep operating as it is, and that civilizations will rise and fall under the weight of the illusion of these ideas. But you are here to awaken now. It is your time to awaken. You did not start the war. The vast majority of you do not want war. But you've been conditioned to believe that that is the way. Why do you allow it? Because it is in your DNA that you should allow it, that you must defer the authority of your life to others. The authority over your own mind, your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own physiology. You've deferred that to them because your DNA has asserted it, though, as they have asserted their power and authority over you. Likewise for the same process of hereditary conditioning. And to step away from that hereditary conditioning, to evaluate and consider. Who are you? What is this thinking instrument of thought, of memory, of emotion? And your own ability to affect the change in DNA conditioning, whether it's the hereditary nature of disease or the hereditary nature of behavior, the hereditary nature of power and authority, the hereditary nature of enslavement and powerlessness. You have influence greater than you know over your own capacity to change your mind and your emotions, and thereby begin to change the information in your DNA that you will pass down to your children and your children's children. Your scriptures have this statement: the sins of the father shall be visited upon the children, for yea, 3 and 4 generations. But it's not just 3 and 4 generations, it's endless generations until there's a change initiated in the process of information and conditioning that's being imparted onto the individuals that respectively make up a society. In this case, a global society that you're experiencing right now. And most of your political machinations are based predominantly on there being someone in charge and someone not being in charge. The servant and the master. And again, this is just conditioning for many thousands of years in countless civilizations. And yet the energy is now available for you to begin. The information is available for you to consider and weigh and measure that you can begin to change the function of your thought, the function of your emotion, which affects and transforms the function of your DNA memory systems, as your DNA is inherited and bestowed memory and experience. And you have the capacity to influence that with the right understanding and education and learning. Not the education that you are supposed to simply listen and obey, but the education where you evaluate and experience within yourself and observe the function of that evaluation and change internally and how it manifests as the conditions of your life as it is now. Your life is a manifestation of thoughts and emotions installed in your mind and body, mostly installed by others rather than you. The vast majority of individuals do not even consider where their thoughts come from, or why they think what they think, or why they feel what they feel. For to begin to consider why you think the thoughts you think and why you have the feelings you feel would put you in the position of evaluation, transformation, and change, where you can begin to initiate fundamental changes in what you call your existence in this dimension, living through the body that you are currently hearing these words through. The idea of heredity is that it is inherited. But you can change what you inherit. You do not have to accept this. Whether it is the function of disease or the function of health or the function of intelligence or the function of power or enslavement, each and every individual was bestowed the same fundamental capability to create, rich or poor, healthy or sick. Every individual, irrespective of their position in the human collective condition, has within them the capacity to create. And when that function of creation is made conscious to you, and you begin to assert this consciousness over what you would think, what you would say, what you would do, how you would treat your body, when that consciousness begins to become available to an individual, they can begin to intentionally affect change, not only in their life, generally speaking, but even in what they will give to their children, even before their children are conceived or born. Your DNA can be altered and changed sufficient enough that your child can inherit the respective wisdom and knowledge and freedoms that you can cultivate in your own consciousness and in your own creative ability, that you can effectively and deliberately induce effects of experience into your life, that your children can inherit that capability as equally as they can inherit the capability to be slaves or to be those in positions of authority and power. The fundamental principles are universal, but differ in the way in which they manifest as experience. So for the many, many thousands of civilizations that have come and gone upon this planet, this awakening and conditioning has persisted. It is not the first time, and you all know this. You all know this is not the first time you have done this, individually and collectively. The difference here now, though, is there's a level of availability of information that was not so readily available on such a broad spectrum, that one individual in one place in the world could speak to everybody simultaneously. That technology exists. That one could have the truth and speak the truth, and one could hear it, and many can hear it. In the times of what you call the Roman days, information would come from the mouth and would take many weeks, months, and even years before others at the other corners of the world could hear. But now the technology is available that you can hear the words now, instantaneously, to hear that you are not your body, you are not your mind, you are a spiritual entity called a soul. And that as a spiritual entity you have dominion and authority by nature over what your mind shall think, and therefore what you shall create, unless you defer that function to someone or something else, which many of you have done. You've deferred your function of authority and creation to your governments, to your individuals, to your senses. Many of you have deferred your creative power, given it away. And you must take it back if you wish to be free of this vicious cycle of ruler and slave. For there are those that rule that live in constant fear of what might befall them for their evil. At least those of you that are enslaved know what to expect from them, but they do not know, as they have not known in many civilizations, when the people that were being ruled had a moment where they woke up and the walls came tumbling down. This can happen now, far more quickly than it did before, as information can reach every ear on the planet, because the technology will allow that possibility that you can learn to end your suffering very quickly. You can hear information you could not hear before. You could learn to make a distinction between yourself and your thoughts, yourself and your emotions, yourself and your body. You can make a distinction between the player of the instrument and the instrument. But if you remain distracted by what they say or what happens, the wars, the disease, as long as you remain divested of what it is inside you, then you will remain enslaved to the world around you. And whether you are rich or poor, this function of enslavement, for those that are enslaved in poverty, there are also those enslaved in wealth. And the loss of one's soul is equally devastating whether you are rich or poor, when you lose your own soul and you forget who you are and you disconnect from that foundation of light and love that exists within you. It is very difficult. Even that can be inherited and given to your children, to lose yourself in matter, that you do not know who you are, that you think you are just a meat sack that is going to go back and remain only as the dust. But that is true for your body, but not for who you are as a spiritual entity. When I came to this one this morning, it was quite simply to say it is time to give people the key, rich or poor, to unlock the handcuffs of heredity, of ancient memories of civilizations that rose and fall under the existing circumstances that you see in your world today. And I came to this one and said, here is the key. Awaken yourself. You are a divine creator. And it lives within you. And you have been believing you are separate from it, thinking that something outside of you will save you from your suffering, whether your suffering is the suffering of the overburdening of wealth or the burden of poverty. Suffering is equal on all spectrums. But the key is in your willingness to begin to awaken yourself, that you are not simply the body, that you are not simply a collage of thoughts in your mind that you have no authority or control over, or that emotions that go through you are somehow scary and mystical apparitions that you cannot change. This is simply not true. You are divine consciousness. Feel the truth of those words. You are divine consciousness, able to create and affect change in the conditions of time, space, and matter. And that happens whether you are conscious of that process or not. It is certainly more preferable that you become conscious of that foundational truth, that you are creator, that you can change thought, you can change emotion, you can change your DNA. You think that your hand opens and closes by chance, but by request. You are instructing the organism to do very specific things. And they would tell you that it would be impossible to change certain things about your body, and I say to you that is not true. For when you understand your position of authority in the spectrum of creation, you can induce profound changes, not only in your mind and your emotions, in your body, but in your society. At the very least, one should agree that if you are going to be a slave, then do so with joy. If you're going to use your position of authority and power to do harm, then do that so well with joy at the very least. For you cannot escape the effects of your own causing. Whether you do evil or good, you shall reap what you sow. It is inevitable. But you must turn away from the distractions of the world that will tell you to fear this and fear that, and say, go within. Remember who you are. Quiet your mind. Be still. Take a vacation from your humanness. That is, from your body and your mind and your personality. Step away from it. Look in the mirror of the self within you again. Look at yourself within, not at your thoughts, because many of you refer to yourself as your thoughts, and many of you refer to yourself as your emotions, and many of you refer to yourself as your bodies. Such terrible confusion. Your thoughts and your emotions, your body are instruments. They are not you. They are instruments that you use in the function of creation. You need to remember this, that you are not your body. Your body is an instrument. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are instruments. You are not your emotions. Your emotions are instruments, and they are all instruments of creation that you may harness and use in the practice and development of the art of creation. The creation of disease, the creation of health, the creation of bliss, the creation of joy. You are free to use your instruments as you would will. I am simply here to say that you have a choice to suffer, and you have a choice to be in joy. that you are divine creator. And as you come to an understanding of this, that you can assert the will of your own consciousness to create a very different experience of being while you're in this world. There is no other God but the one that is within you. That kingdom of the divine is within you. And you must close your eyes, close your ears, close your mouth. Go within. Step away from the world. That is the key. That you may unlock yourself from these DNA handcuffs, the hereditary conditions that you have received from your mother and your mother's mother and your mother's mother's mother and your ancestors and their experiences. What was the past no longer needs to define your existence now or the future. Once you have heard these words, you cannot unhear them. You cannot blame the past. Once you hear these words, you cannot blame yourself or others once you hear these words, but you can choose responsibility. You did not come to this realm to suffer, you came to this realm to create. And you are in this macabre dance of master and slave, and it is not very exciting. It has its moments, of course, for each of you. But in the overall, the opportunity to realize what a divine civilization could be has fallen from your hands time and time again. And here this opportunity presents itself one more time. You all know this is not the first time you have been here. You all know this is not the first civilization. Even the obvious ruins scattered around the face of this globe reveals to you that what I'm saying is true, that this is not the first time you've all done this. But it is the first time that so many of you could hear at once that there is another possibility than the established conditions of the past being repeated again and again and again. And that there are very simple and fundamental things that you can learn to liberate yourself from this hereditary nightmare that you all find yourselves in. And that you can restore yourself to deliberate creation. You can do so. When I came to this one, it was not to say that you are good or not good, or that one is better than another. I came to this one simply to say that you all, in the light of your own divinity, are equal. In the light of your own divinity, you are equal. In the shadow of some thinking and believing, you suffer. Not because you want to suffer, but because all thinking creates a shadow of experience. Whether that thinking is good or not so good, all thinking creates a shadow of experience that you find yourselves all living under right now. You are in the shadow of your own thinking and believing. And you are not the shadow, but the one who casts it. Wow. Thank you, Archangel Metatron. I really, really appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so that's been my morning. And I hope you got something from that. Because I was lying there and just taking it in, and it was like, wow, it's not about, the politicians are evil and bad, and it's not about that at all. Is there evil happening? Absolutely. But it's conditioned rich and poor are conditioned patterns of existence. And we are all in our roles disconnected from our own creative divinity. That much I understand from what he said. We're all disconnected from our creative roles of our divinity. All of us. If we are trying to harm another or we are being harmed, we are out of our divinity. If you are in greed, you're out of your divinity. If you're on a battlefield, you're out of your divinity. At least from my understanding. Because some would argue that, well, if God is everywhere and all-powerful and ever-present, then he would want war. He's having a war, obviously. If he's really everywhere present, then there's no logic to that. There is God's will, and then there's the will that we have of our own. The ability to operate independent of what we know is right and good. We have that ability. And we've all done good and we've all done not so good, right? Anyway, thank you, Metatron. Really appreciate that. Good morning. Thank you for the badges. Thank you for all those wonderful comments. Really appreciate it. Take that off. Good morning, Manoj. How you doing? I'm going to scroll back up and see where we are. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. Drusilla. It's very difficult when you know the truth, but the people close to you won't hear it. I can't even share what I know with anyone without an argument ensuing. It's difficult. Hey, listen. You know, I've got a pretty good-sized family, and trying to share some ideas with them can be really challenging for them because they're in their DNA program. And if you want a good example of why, it's not that they're bad or wrong because they can't hear you. It's they don't even know they're in the program. They're in the safety of their program, whether it's suffering or not suffering, right? Whether you're rich or poor, you're in a program. So yeah, so try writing with your opposite hand. I would challenge anybody that's out there to do this. In our masterclass, we haven't this experiment they told us to give to people. Take a pen and try writing with your opposite hand as well as you write with your other hand. It's very uncomfortable and very frustrating. For some people that you get excited about it, you might want to try it and actually get good at it. So when you're challenging somebody with a belief or an idea that's outside of what they know, you're asking them to write with their opposite hand. Be patient with them. Be gentle with them. Be kind with them because they do not know. Give them a little bit here, a little bit there. You know? Even those in the halls of power on this planet, they're so conditioned into believing that they are power. They have some power. And to present them with the idea that that power can be shared and it doesn't mean they're going to be less is very difficult for them to accept. It's like asking them to write with their opposite hand. And any change that you want and expect others to make that can be difficult is like asking them to write with their opposite hand. Be patient with them. And if they're not willing to learn, well, then they'll be stuck in that role. The sins of the father and mother will be visited upon the children as it is. It's the truth. It's a profound truth, but it's not just for 3 and 4 generations. It's as long as that function of patterned thinking and behaving sustained and maintained and continue for thousands, millions of years even. Lifetime after lifetime. Until the pattern is challenged. And then even if you get them to evaluate it, if they evaluate it, that's when the change can happen. The change will only happen when they consider what you're saying. That's the only time change begins to happen, is when someone who's stuck in a pattern of behavior considers what you change. The minute they start to consider it, the door opens this tiny little crack. And the possibility of change then becomes available. Irrespective of your financial station in this world or your social station in this life, the moment you open to a new possibility, that is when real change begins, where we can start to break what he calls our DNA handcuffs. I really like that term. That it's not just 3 and 4 generations, it's for tens of thousands of civilizations. Tens of thousands! You know, we only see a few, maybe 1 or 2,000 different ruined civilizations, and that's not including the thousands of others that are buried under the water or sitting at the bottom of the oceans, right? But be patient with those that you love, Drusilla. because you're asking them to write with their opposite hand, and be patient with them. It's like teaching somebody something new. Be kind and be patient. Don't be so impatient with them. Blessings and goodwill to you too. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good to see you. I'm using a different device, so if there's some movement on the camera on TikTok, please forgive me. I'll have to get a little weight to, maybe a miniature sandbag will do the trick right here. Can I ask your guides, can you ask my guides, when is a good time to have the conversation? Now! Now! Good time is now! Do it! Wow. Hi, Daruz is asking, hey William, did Muhammad actually encounter the Archangel Gabriel as a prophet? Are there too many inconsistencies in the Quran for it to be truly inspired by Gabriel's teachings? Yes, Muhammad met Archangel Gabriel, as did Master Jesus, as did Buddha, as did Joan of Arc. Many were visited by the Archangel Gabriel. And yes, there are many inconsistencies, not just in the Quran, in classical Catholicism, in the Torah. In many holy books, there's tremendous inconsistencies, because the perception of the divine has always been based upon the anthropomorphic perceptions of humans, rather than on the intimate and profound communion with that divinity. And please understand, every leader of every great religious system had that meeting with the divine. And in the case of Muhammad, his experience with Gabriel, which is a connection to the divine, was not as long as the connection that Master Jesus had with the divine, or the connection that Moses had with the divine. The time span and the intensity of that emotion was different from each. And so the way in which they articulated their communion with the divine into the philosophies that they put forward was determined not just by the essential meaning of the divine, but their interpretation of that experience, which often gets in the way. Again, the human component gets in the way, and the divine gets muddied in the confusion of human interpretation. Yes, but in that moment, whether you're Muhammad or you're Jesus or you're Buddha, whether you're Moses, in the moment of your communion with the divine, you will experience the profound bliss of infinite love that is the hallmark of God's love. And then your ability to then take that love and interpret it as accurately and effectively as it was given to you is the sacred duty that unfortunately most organized religions and their founders had difficulty with. Understand, the teachings of Master Jesus were by far the most efficient and effective on the planet. Unfortunately, the Roman Empire removed him and took over the religion and put it into the image and likeness of their desires, as did the subsequent followers of Muhammad did the same, as did the subsequent followers of Moses. They perverted it to their own human nature rather than the essential truth of the divine as was espoused by the respective teachers. Muhammad was a very respected teacher of the divine, just as Jesus was, as Moses was. And yes, I'm being told that a lot of people might find that difficult to believe, but those that followed after them changed what was given. That's what happened. And that there really is only supposed to be one life, and there is only one life. Not many lives. There's one life. There wasn't supposed to be many religions. It's supposed to be one fundamental truth. That love is the governing principle and ought to be the governing principles of all functions of life. Right now we balance back and forth as a species from love to fear, back and forth. But that's a really great question. I'm really glad you asked it. There are grains of purity in every religious philosophy. There are grains of purity in every religious philosophy, and it's those that follow are responsible not to follow what they've been told, but to follow the truth that they discover within the philosophy. within the religion to find because remember, most religious dogmas were created after the founders left and were repurposed to assert levels of authority and control. Much of what was taught, misunderstood, and grossly misinterpreted. But we are at a very profound time of transformation and change. That has very little to do with religion, has even less to do with politics. It has more to do with your own pursuit to know the God within you. To not know the God within some book or text, but to go inside and discover God within you, the one that beats your heart right now. Because there's no man and no doctor, no politician, no rabbi, no priest, no minister that is beating your heart right now. None. There's no man in existence beating your heart right now. That is God beating your heart right now. Get to know that God within you, not in the book or the scriptures. Know God within you. That is where you will find true freedom. That is where you will find the truth. The kingdom of God is within you. But they would have you believe that it is there or there or there. It is not. It is within you. It really is. Great consideration, DeRose. Thank you so much. Hi. Beautiful. Great message this morning. Thank you. I thought so too. I really enjoyed it. It's a very, very strange life I live, but I love it so much that to bear witness to words coming through my body, to feel the essence and spirit of other beings that come from a function of love, because there are good beings and there are evil beings. You know, a lot of people you've been taught by almost every religion to connect, to channel or bring through information is evil. I want to clarify that right now. There's nothing evil about channeling. There's something evil if you're channeling evil. But Jesus was a spiritual medium. Moses was a spiritual medium. Muhammad was a spiritual medium. They connected and communed with the divine, whether it was Archangel Gabriel or the burning bush. It's being very mindful of what it is you are connecting with energetically that becomes very, very important in your spiritual awakening, in your spiritual journey. Remember that. Remember that. Hi. Good morning, William and company. Without taxes, we wouldn't have roads. Without taxes, we wouldn't... Listen, before there were taxes, there were roads. There were roads. People moved from one place to another. The natives for 36,000 years, Native Americans, for 36,000 years roamed all over North America, and the roads were the ground upon which they walked. There have always been roads. There have always been roads. The Romans built roads. There have always been roads. Don't need taxes to build roads. You need agreement and commitment to create the society we've created today. It would be very different if people were voluntarily giving taxes. It would be very different. It would be not as advanced as it is, but to get a civilization to voluntarily give without force or fraud, that only happened 2 times that I know of. The first time was in the continent of Eden and in the continent of Atlantis, where people willingly and voluntarily gave what they had to construct the civilization. And Atlantis was significantly, technologically, way beyond what we know of in our society. I don't even have the knowledge to even comprehend what I can see and perceive. I don't have ways of describing it. But I can feel it. That was significant. When a civilization combines their efforts out of a passion for life, out of a love for life, it's a very different thing. That you want to help your neighbor, you want to love one another. It's really true. How do we ever get away from government when we needed to give money to give to people to help them? Listen, the Native Americans fed themselves. They lived. They had form, and again, the same thing happened in highly evolved technological societies like Atlantis, where people agreed to work together. Nobody forced anybody. It just made common sense to agree to help each other. The whole concept of investments and the banking systems was designed to be on that principle that people could contribute. But what's happened, unfortunately, with the system of taxation and government is you've got corruption. People that are in it for themselves are not in it for humanity. They're in it for their 15 mansions and their 45 cars and their private jets. They're not in it to make a community in some city flourishing or have some village in Africa that has a wealth. There's not a lot of that going on when you consider how much money is grotesquely being wasted and spent on the greed and avarice of other individuals. But Atlantis did it. Eden did it. Those two continental civilizations thrived in ways and in means that we can't even conceive of. The ancient pyramids are part of what was originally known as Eden. Right? And they're far older than what you're being told. Those pyramids and that whole area there is way older. It was once below the ocean, and then above, and then below, and then above. It moved up and down a few times. I'll leave it at that. That's what I've been told. Yeah, thank you. Lauren is asking, I compromised my personal information. Will I be okay? I signed up for LifeLick. You know, when you choose, Lauren, when you choose to not take actions from fear, but from common sense, the vast majority of people are in fear they're not going to get enough. In fact, greed, political waste, and all this greed is because people are in fear. People are not greedy because they're intelligent. They're greedy because they're in fear. They're in fear there's not going to be enough, or they don't have enough. And they can never get enough. As long as you're in fear, you'll never get enough, right? But no, you'll be okay. Just don't make decisions based on fear. Don't sign on any dotted line until you're doing so from a place of joy and love. Hi, Tara. Thank you for your question. Why did I hear the name Enoch in my sleep? Read the book. This was 3 years ago, but I cannot stop thinking about it. Thank you in advance. Thank you so much for that little medal. Please, get the book of Enoch. It was one of the books that was taken out of the Christian Bible before the Romans repurposed Master Jesus' teaching to serve their own favor, right? Which is still going on today. Don't get me wrong. Most of our political systems are based on the Roman philosophy and the Roman political system of caste system. Not much has changed in 2,000 years. So yeah, you want to get the book of Enoch and study it very deeply. I'm being told to tell you the light in your heart will open. I'm being told to tell you that. The light in your heart will open. Hi, let's go over here now. TikTok. Feeling goodness after these ascension days that were difficult to be in. Yes, there's a lot of that going on. Oh, blessings to you too. Does a woman named Laura have feelings for me? I'm being told that you need to stop being preoccupied with others having feelings for you. It's important that you become preoccupied with the love that you have for the divine in yourself. For the love that you hold in your own heart shall be the love you embrace in the world. What you hold in your own heart, you hold in your life right now. What you hold in your heart, you have in your life right now. That's the truth. What you hold in your heart, you have in your life right now. And that is true for every single soul on this planet. Thank you so much. Should I book the trip in Mom in November, or is there a better time? Any time you choose the good time, go. Don't wait. Stop delaying. Stop procrastinating. Someone's asking, Hi Janine. I've been getting a lot of aura migraines, no headaches. Message as to why and how to stop them. Meditation is so important right now. Your crown chakra is really blocked. The energy flow between the physical and non-physical dimensions for you, there's a blockage there. You need to literally clear that blockage out. You want to increase the amount of good salts you're getting into your body. You want to increase the amount of good salts you're getting into your body. Again, I recommend Celtic sea salt or authentic pink Himalayan sea salt are very rich in primary trace minerals that your body needs. A lot of people getting headaches and ascension symptoms. Headaches, ringing in the ears, number sequences, fatigue out of nowhere. There is energy coming into this planet from our physical sun. It's transmitting an energy that it is receiving from another source. And that energy being transmitted to this earth is affecting and changing everything upon this planet right now. All these new life forms that people are discovering, where do you think they came from? How do you think the dinosaurs came into existence and disappeared? There is a function of the sun that alters and changes life on this planet. It affects our DNA. It affects our neuropsychology. It affects your emotional connections to life. It can enhance or diminish your connection to the divine. Do not underestimate what's going on. We are in the time of ascension. This is an ascension channel. And you have a wonderful opportunity to awaken yourself. So yeah, you want to open up this crown center. You want to get that open. Like really, the simplest way is to sit down in your meditation and let yourself feel a connection between the top of your head and the sun, the physical sun. Let yourself feel a connection between the top of your head and the physical sun. Okay, do that. Do that right now, while we're here, and then let us know what you experience. Do it right now, right now. Get to it. I'm feeling 8/24/24 is a special day. Can you expand what can I explain or expand what I'm feeling? Actually, I can't. I'm not getting anything on that. Yeah, except that you need to just stop looking outside yourself for what is being spoken of from within. Listen to the voice within you. There are so many things that are trying to draw your attention inward that you keep running out there, finding something out there that's going to make you feel significant. It's within you. Go inside. Go inside. The significance is within you. Find it. Go in. Dig deep. Hello, David. Thank you so much for that super sticker. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so kindly. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you today. May I ask for a message? I have been having vivid dreams the last few nights. It's like my whole sleep is a sum of visuals without turning off. Thank you. Okay. You need to, before you go to sleep tonight, Amanda, because what's happening is you're trying to receive this message from the divine, and your mind is getting in the way. Before you go to sleep tonight, lie back on the bed and speak to your thinking mind to go into a deep, quiet, and peaceful sleep so that you might connect to the divine. You want to tell your mind it can be still and quiet all night. It's perfectly safe. Let your mind know that, to go into a deep, deep sleep so that you can experience your connection with the divine, because your mind is resistant. And remember what Metatron was saying earlier about our DNA handcuffs? This is what's happening. So people are trying to connect to the God within themselves. They're trying to realize, remember, who am I? Who am I? And then the conditioning of your DNA, which says you're either a servant or you're meant to suffer, start to get in the way. The mind gets in the way. And for you, in this context, this is the last barrier you have to push yourself through. Is you have to get the mind completely quiet so that when you go to put the body to sleep at night, you can make the decision to connect to that which is the divine, however you want to define your higher self or God or whatever terminology you want to use, but that you need to instruct your mind to be still and quiet throughout the night so that you can get the revelation of truth that you need. Right? Let us know how that goes, Amanda. Hello guys. Hi. Hi. Hello. Can I get a message from my father who passed? Thank you. Um, yeah. I don't know why, but I'm getting getting a military the voice of a drill sergeant saying 10 hut. Like I'm not, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like this military voice saying like stand up straight, chest back, chest out, shoulders back, 10 hut. Like I don't know that's how I'm hearing it anyway. But stand straight, strong, powerful, proud, and it's being presented in a very military way. I've never been in the military, but that's the way he's communicating that energy to you through me. Let me know your thoughts on that, please. Hi. Hi there. Hello. Will castor oil help my son's skin, or what would? Thanks. Hello, Diane. I'm not sure how old your son is, but you want to teach him because the body cannot lie to us. Your body cannot lie to you. So when it's sick or in pain, it's trying to talk to you at the language it can. So with your son's skin, I'm being told to tell you, he needs to bring you and him need to bring your attention to the part that's dysfunctional, and bring your and extend your love and grace to it. Say, hey, I'm going to love you. I'm going to take care of you. Use castor oil, but use it with an intention that you're communicating to that part that's in pain. I'm here to heal you. You need to let the consciousness in the body that's presenting that skin condition, you need to let that consciousness know, so does your son, that you're willing to love it and take care of it. And then you can put the castor oil on if you want, or you can put on shaving cream. It doesn't matter what you put on, but you need to communicate your intention to love to his body, and so does he, to the point where the body feels it and receives it and will respond to it, because it will. Anytime you touch about your body anywhere, you can feel it respond. The cells will react and respond to the way we interact with it. So you really want to go into that place with the skin and let that part of the skin that's in the problem part of the skin, let it know you love it and you're going to take care of it. Let it feel that. Get your son to book a reading with me. You know, his guides, his angels will come through me, and they will really guide him through a process that he'll be able to actually heal that in a very simple and easy to function. Barring that, of course, some people get secondary gains from their suffering. Some people suffer because they get a benefit to their suffering. And when you realize there's no benefit to suffering, then you can heal, right? If you're willing to give up the benefits to suffering, then you won't need to suffer anymore. But if you believe you're going to benefit from suffering, you will. You'll keep doing it. Yeah, I'm here because of God and nothing else. He lives within me. That's beautiful. Thank you, Bartman. Thank you, Dean. That's right. God is within us all. I love when your voice changes and I hear Archangel Metatron and others come through. I love that too. It just blows my mind sometimes. It's and the feeling I can feel my body, sometimes I feel their energy, like my body's bigger, stronger. I feel like sometimes it feels like I got this whole node of information pouring through me. It's very fascinating. I finally learned to just love that and accept that. It used to scare me in the very beginning. Lots of African people still feel themselves without taxes or banking system. That's very true. There are places in the world where that doesn't exist, where you don't need to concern yourself with too much. You just concern yourself with your neighbors and yourself and your well-being. Love is the way. Hello, Manoj. Thank you so much for that. I have got high blood sugar and high insulin. Please ask my angels how I can bring them back to normal levels. Thank you. Hello, Manoj. Again, you must understand the nature and function of your physical body, that your physical body perceives reality at its own level. What do we mean by that? That your body cannot distinguish what you hold in your mind and what is happening in the world as different. It accepts the reality and the fears of your mind as if there were actual events in the world that could threaten it. The fears, the anger, the judgments that you hold in your mind affect your body. Just as the judgments and the things of this world can affect your body. You must begin to expose your body to your deep and profound love. Fill your mind Fill the space around you with as much goodness as you can. Teach your body your love. As for the spike in insulin and the hang on, just gonna roll this over. There we go. You need to relax, Minaj. Like, relax. Get the body to be calm. Bring it to a state of restfulness. Get your mind to a state of restfulness. Your body will go through a functional change. Just by changing the way you make your body breathe. Because you can affect the way your body breathes. Breathe slower and deeper. Move your attention into the pancreas and communicate to it. The cells in your body hear every thought you think, and they react and respond to everything around you. Look at what it is you're interacting with. But I'm being told to tell you, ultimately, it is your love or your fear that you will contend with in any situation. So it is either your love or your fear that you contend with. I like that. Hi, Dave. Thank you. I had a question also about, okay, Dave, I'll take a look up. Let's see, I'm going to scroll back up here for, I don't know if I could be able to do that. We'll see. Thank you so much. Let's see if I can find it. I don't often scroll back up like this, but I'm feeling very strongly that I should do this. Okay, let's try. Hi guys, thank you for being so patient. Remember, if you're here and you're getting this information, like, subscribe, share this information with other people. If you want to know more about what the work that I do, go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and there's different beings and channels that I work with. Go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, check out our masterclass series. You can book a reading with me. You can book a customized meditation if you want to change this particular thing about your life, your health, your wealth, whatever it is you want to change. You can do that too. Scrolling down here, trying to find that question, Dave. Did the question get... Oh, there it is. Hi, Michael. I had a question also above. Dave, I'm looking for that question, and I've gone up and I've gone down, but, you know, and I see the super sticker that you gave me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm scrolling, like literally I've scrolled almost all the way back up. Still got a couple more spots to go. Hello, Cherbear. Good to see you. Hi. Yeah, there's no question, Dave. If you wouldn't mind maybe putting the question back in again, I would really appreciate it. You're very welcome, Amanda. Liliana is asking, may I get a message for my upcoming near feature, please? They're telling me to tell you, walk in smiling. Be there smiling. Inside, smile. Be in a smile. Inside, that they will feel it. I'm being told to tell you that when you smile inside, you have a certain alluring energy to you. When they say when you smile inside, you have a certain alluring energy to you. So smile inside, before, during, and after. Hi. Yeah, thank you, Bridget. Thank you for asking me to do that. Yeah, David, please rewrite the question. Hi. Hi there. Hello, everybody. Ethiopian Bible has all of the books of Enoch, 88 chapters. Yes, it does. But trying to get a hold of it shall be another interesting process. Because again, people take the truth and humans have rewritten information again and again and again and again. And each subsequent group of rulers rewrites it to serve their own devices, right? But the original conversation, I hope you will go to my YouTube channel and watch the original message from Archangel Metatron about how to unlock your DNA handcuffs. And that we are, whether you're rich or poor, political or philosophical, we are all embraced in our DNA, in our inherited belief systems. And these belief systems can be handed down for thousands of generations, whether you're conscious of it or not, until one day you wake up and you begin to change them. And we are at this time of awakening right now. Hi. Hello. Hello, Stacy. Thank you so much. I think I missed the answer, but when is a good time to have the conversation with him? The answer was now. The beginning and end, and bringing them to life. Thank you so much. Will my book be out on Amazon by October? Thank you, William. Well, Iris, yes. Why would it not be? Do you have other plans? That's what I'm hearing. Why would it not be? Do you have other plans? Do not place the fate of your creation in the hands of others than those who understand and respect the integrity of your creation as if it were their own. Wow, that's really cool. David's asking, how can I be truly helpful to Celeste? It's complex and challenging. She has a serious intestine issue and knee is bad and can't take medicine. David, if you could book a reading for her with me, do that. But again, there's some things that have happened in her life that have not been resolved, and she's holding those old emotions in her body. People don't realize you hold, just like you can hold memory in your DNA, from this lifetime, you can hold emotional experiences in your body. So she went through some pretty things that she couldn't stomach very well as a young child that were never resolved. And there's the emotions and the memory are locked into her body and causing the body this dysfunction. Nothing happens by chance. You cannot have an effect without a cause. And the body's simply trying to get her to take responsibility for the emotional energy that needs to be lifted off the body. She has to learn how to lift that emotion off the body, right? She has to learn how to do that. Because the longer it's no coincidence that the knee is a problem, because she can't stand what she's hiding inside herself emotionally. She can't stand it. She couldn't stand it when it happened, and she can't stand holding on to it unconsciously. But yeah, tell her that. Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to have to put a weight on that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, William. And everyone, any message from Spirit for me? Well, I hope you've been listening, Momo, because there have been a lot of messages from Spirit today. Have I made any progress in connecting to her higher self to resolve conflict? Yes, you have. Be patient. Asked for guidance in a dream, was shown the Fibonacci sequence. Confusing. No, it's not confusing at all. There is an order to the existing flow of events in your life right now. Trust that order is there, whether you know what the order may be or not. The order is always there. Trust that the order is there, even if you do not know the sequence of that order. But the structure of the vision of the Fibonacci is to remind you that there is an order to what is unfolding in your life right now. Trust in that order. Wow. I like that. Best ways to use the Himalayan salt. Doesn't have to be a certain kind. Make certain it's, Celtic sea salt is the best, in my personal opinion. But good Himalayan pink salt will do in a pinch. It's just got a couple of less trace minerals than the Celtic sea salt. But you want to do like a pinch of salt in your water. And make sure it's really real pink salt. If that's what you're going after, make certain it's real pink salt. Because some people actually put dye in with the salt and give it the illusion. There's got to be very mindful. Always people trying to make money because they don't believe they can. So you want to make certain you do that. Put a pinch of salt in with your glass of water every day. A couple of pinches of salt a day won't get in the way. It'll make the water taste good and it will balance some of the physical things you're dealing with. Anything more about the healing event? Yeah, there'll be more details about the healing event coming out in the next few days. And so be patient and bear with us because it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a free event on healing, and we'll give you all the details as they give them to us. Listen, when we started doing the master classes, they literally downloaded the courses. On one of our courses, Masterclass 103, called Creation, we had organized a whole class and we didn't even have the material, literally. And I was waiting and waiting. We had Masterclass 101, we had Masterclass 102, and they said they were going to release Masterclass 103. So we promoted it, and all these people were set up for Masterclass 103. And literally 15 minutes before the class was to begin, suddenly my guides and angels came in, and literally in 15 minutes, the entire 103 Masterclass, the entire 20 days of the class were written in under 15 minutes, and then the class was initiated. So when you start connecting to your guides and angels, really amazing things can start happening. It's pretty profound. It really, really is pretty profound. Hi there. You're welcome, Dave. Oh, Drusilla's saying to David, tell her to take the 102. Yeah, we have a lot of healing happens in our masterclass series, particularly the 102, where you're dealing with letting go of all this old emotion. In Masterclass 102, you learn how to release old emotion. In Masterclass 101, Awakening is where you begin the process of activating your internal mechanisms of perception, where you begin to learn how to meditate, to connect to your guides, your angels, ascended masters, other wonderful beings. You learn how to do that. You're not alone in this dimension. And part of you knows this. Everybody knows there's guides and angels, but most people have been taught to be afraid of what's inside of you. You know, guys like Sigmund Freud and Anton Mesmer made the internal world mysterious and scary. There's nothing fearful inside of who you are. What you have in your mind might be disturbing, but beyond what's in your mind, there is such a wonder in who you are. I hope you realize what was just said to you there. There's such a wonder in who you really are. How do you control the fear when that stuff comes through as it's very new to me? It's not, I've been taught, Rob, it's not so much about controlling the fear. It's about transforming the fear. See, emotions cannot be created or destroyed. Emotions can only be changed from one state to another. In our masterclass, in that program, you literally learn to change emotional energy from one state to another. Literally. You learn to let go of these old emotions that you're holding. You learn to change fear into a new vibration. It's quite remarkable. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you want a really quick way to do it right now, of course, Bob, just feel your fear. Turn your attention to your fear right now. Let's just do this experiment. If any of you here want to try this experiment with us, please do it. So Bob, sense where your fear is. Just let yourself feel your fear. Just become aware of where you feel your fear. And as you start to feel your fear, take a deep breath and relax. And then communicate these words or thoughts. You can do it either spoken or in your thought. These words to your fear. I'm willing to love you and take care of you even if I don't understand you. Communicate those words to your fear right now. I'm willing to love you and take care of you even if I do not understand you. Just communicate those words to the fear and watch what happens to the fear, and write a comment about what happens in the comment section below, please. Let other people know what your experience is. Hi. Hi there. Oh, you're very welcome, Adina. Remember to share this information with other people. We go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was told, when I asked why we go so often, so long, why do we do that? And they said, because it's to establish a pattern that we want to establish in the same fashion that those who are in positions of instrumental authority over you have established such a pattern to keep you in fear. We wish to keep you in truth, in love, in compassion, in wisdom. That is our goal. So please remember, when you share this out, let people know. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hi. Hello there. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the subscription. I think we're up to 8 subscribers on my TikTok channel. Let's see if we can bring that up. If you're not, I like that. Kathy saying, if you're not tapping, you're napping. I love that. Thank you so much, Kathy. We're almost up to 30,000 likes on TikTok. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I think our record is 42,000. I think 42,000 likes. Oh, you're very welcome, Drusilla. Love you guys too. You know, what they teach is universal. It's not that it works for some and doesn't work for others. It's universal. If you are conscious and willing to shift the way you interact with your mind and body, if you're willing to explore different ways of interacting with your own mind and body, you'll experience how you can change it. Because your body, your mind, has the same fundamental mechanics to it. The only thing that makes one person different from another primarily is the information in your mind is different. But we all have bodies, we have minds, we have emotions. We have the same mechanics. And the only thing that changes is the way in which the mechanics are operated. And you can learn to change that very quickly and easily. Hi. Any message for me today about calling my energy and power back to me in a positive way? First of all, your energy and power is within you. You don't have to call it back to you. You have to go inside and connect to it. It's already there. And I'm being told to give you these words. I awaken and release that love which is within me. Use those words. Close your eyes. Go inside. I release and awaken that love that is within me now. Do that right now. And just repeat that slowly. I awaken and release the love that is within me now. And just repeat that a few times. The sequence of the words and the structure of the language causes very different things. William, am I seeing spirit guides when I see shapes appear on my ceiling? Yes, you are. You're starting to glance into different dimensions. That's called clairvoyance. You're beginning to open up clairvoyance. You're beginning to dimensionally see things. Like I can look at that wall right now, and I can suddenly start to see all the particles on the wall vibrating. So we can shift our perceptual apparatus to perceive different spectrums of perception than our eyes or ears would normally. And Jesus talks about this all the time when he says, people have to learn to see without their eyes. It means you can change the way in which you see your perceptual apparatus. You can change it. I got time for one more question, folks, then I'm going to call it. Is Celtic sea salt good for nighttime leg cramps? If you got nighttime leg cramps, you want to do magnesium. I use this type of magnesium called Calm. You want to use a magnesium. Take some magnesium before bed. Powdered magnesium in a glass of warm water, and drink that before bed. And because your body's getting low on magnesium, that's what that means. Thank you so much, Amanda, for subscribing. I appreciate that. I'm so excited for this event. Yeah, me too. Honestly, I find this helpful. It helps me release control. That's good. Any advice on how to approach the conversation apart from with love? No. Why would you approach it with anything other than love? You got to stop thinking that there's something wrong with you. So many of you have been taught to think. I mean, just about any TV show you're ever going to watch, any news station you're going to watch, any TV program, most movies that come out in theaters are going to teach you to be afraid, to not trust, to doubt, to fear. The vast majority of movies are designed to fill your mind with fear and a little bit of feeling good. Every movie is designed to fill your mind with fear and violence. And when you got fear and violence in your mind, you don't want to look inside. Right? So you have to change what's inside you and watch what you put within you. So nothing wrong with you. If you're going through a personal rebirth, sign up for our masterclass. Masterclass 101 and 102 are powerful courses for getting connected to your guides, your angels, opening up your intuition, learning to shift your emotional energy. I mean, Masterclass 102 is all about liberating yourself from old emotions. For 3 weeks, you learn how to let go of old emotions that are stuck in your body. And a lot of those emotions are connected to diseases. Emotions can cause vitality, and emotions can cause disease. Oh, you're very welcome, Kiki. Oh, there we go. We got to the end of that run. I'm going to scout the end of that one. Perfect. Well, everybody, listen, it's been a wonderful time. I want to wish you all much love. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Do what you can to support this information getting out to more and more people, please. Because you're here for that reason. You're here to help the planet become a better place and the people, happier people. Much love, everybody. I'll see you guys on the Friday edition of Shortcuts Your Soul. Bye for now.